Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I am Muhammad Abu Bakr, and in this video we shall be solving the Cambridge O-Level Biology question paper 11 from the May-June 2023 series, paper 1 of multiple choice questions only. So let's start our video without any delay. So the question number 1 is, which description applies to a red blood cell? So a cell wall is absent in the RBC, and similarly a nucleus is also absent in an RBC. So that's a characteristics of a RBC, and you must know this. A is the right option for question number 1. Question number 2 is, a green leafed plant produces spores. To which group does the plant belong? So it will definitely not belong to the fungi, because it is a leafed plant, and similarly not to the dicotyledons and not to the monocotyledons. It is only the ferns which produce spores and then reproduce. So C is the right option. Question number 3 is, which statement is always correct? Which now highlight the word always correct for both diffusion and osmosis. They depend on energy from the cells. No, they both do not depend on the energy obtained from the cell. They involve the movement of the particles down a concentration gradient. Yes, this is true. Diffusion is the movement of a substance from a higher potential to lower potential. Similarly, osmosis is the movement of water from an area of higher solute concentration to an area of lower solute concentration. This means that they involve the movement of particles down a concentration gradient. So yes, this is true. They involve the movement of water molecule. Osmosis does, but diffusion may or may not. They take place only in liquids. No, this is not necessary. Diffusion take place in solids and gases as well. In gases only, not in solids. So B is the right option. So question number 4 is, now the graph. This graph shows the effect of oxygen on the uptake of the ions by two sets of barley plants. So these are two separate barley plants. So they, except for oxygen availability, both sets of barley plants were grown in identical conditions. So the only limiting factor here is the availability of oxygen. Now, which process is taking place to explain the difference between the two curves? Now, if we look at the graph, when there is a higher concentration of oxygen available for barley plants, there is a greater uptake of ions. Means that O2 is directly proportional to absorption absorption or uptake, whatever you say, of ions. So that means, and similarly when there is lower concentration of oxygen available, there is lower uptake of ions by barley plants, and both plants have the same conditions except the oxygen availability. Now what can I infer from this? That uptake of ions somehow depends on the concentration of oxygen. And how does it depend on the concentration of oxygen? Now I know that oxygen is required in respiration, and respiration produces energy in the form of ATP, and this ATP energy is utilized during the active transport of these ions. So yes, that's what I was trying to say, that ATP has been produced by glucose plus oxygen, and this ATP is used to carry out active transports of ions. So that means A is the right option. Question number 5, a very tricky one here. A student tested a sample of food. The results are shown. So the color after adding the burette reagent is purple. So that means there's definitely a protein here. There's definitely a protein. So protein, so D is incorrect. Now the color after adding iodine solution means that there is not any starch. There is not any starch. So, and the color after adding Benedict solution is red. So there is not any starch. So then I am obviously left with C as the best choice. So C is the right option. Question number 6. The graph shows the effect of substrate concentration on the rate of an enzyme controlled reaction. The results have been obtained by using a fixed concentration of enzyme at a temperature of 30 degrees C. So enzyme concentration and temperature remains the same. Now, which statement does explain the shape of the graph from X to Y? Now, on the X is the substrate concentration, on the Y is the rate of reaction. As the substrate concentration increases up to a particular value, the rate of reaction increases. Now, what can I infer here? Denaturation of enzyme molecule is increasing. No, there is not any denaturation. Enzyme from X to Y, there is not any denaturation. The enzyme active sites are not all occupied. Yes, this is true. As the rate of reaction moves from X to Y, this means that during this period of time, the enzyme active sites are now starting to be occupied. So yes, initially they were not. So this is true. The concentration of substrate molecule is decreasing. No, it is increasing. The frequency of effective collisions between no, this has nothing to do again. So B is the right option. Question number 7, again a very tricky one. The graph shows how the rate of photosynthesis in a plant varies with the light intensity. So light intensity on the X and rate of photosynthesis on the Y. So which statement are correct? Light intensity is the only limiting factor in photosynthesis. No, it is not. There are three main factors: T, L, C, which is the temperature, light intensity, and the CO2 concentration. Now, between the points P and Q on the graph, the light intensity is a factor that is limiting the rate of photosynthesis. Now, if I try to check the values on the Y and X axis here, I can see that as the light intensity increases, here, then photosynthesis increases. But as it starts to move towards the Q, the light intensity is a factor. It is a factor that is limiting the rate of photosynthesis here. There is not any other factor involved here. And then after it, the light intensity becomes the rate of photosynthesis becomes constant, and the light intensity also becomes constant. Both become constant. So between points P and Q on the graph, the light intensity is the factor that is limiting. Yes, this is true. Now, the third statement is between Q and R, another factor is limiting the rate of photosynthesis. Is this true? Yes, it is. Now, the light intensity has become constant. Light intensity has become constant. So there must be some other factor here which may inhibit the rate of photosynthesis or make it constant here, the rate of photosynthesis. So yes, there might be some any other factor like CO2 concentration or temperature concentration or any other environmental condition that may affect the rate of photosynthesis here. So yes, 2 and 3 both are true, one is not. So C is the right option. Question number 8 is the diagram shows a part of a transverse section of through a leaf. So what are the main functions of the three labeled regions? 3 is the mesophyll cell where the photosynthesis take place. One is the xylem and the phloem area where the transport mainly take place. And then obviously 2 is the place where the gases come and gases go out. So this is the place where the gas exchange is taking place. So C is the right option. Question number 9 is which description of the function of root hairs is correct? So root hairs absorb ions by active transport and osmosis. They absorb ions by uh, active transport but not by osmosis. Root hairs absorb ions by osmosis only. A and B both are incorrect. Root hairs absorb water by active transport. They absorb water by osmosis as shown in D. So D is the right option. So question number 10 is which conditions result in the highest rate of transpiration from a plant? Now the ideal temperature for a plant to work is around about 45 or 46 degrees C. So the greater is the temperature, greater will be the rate of transpiration. So and when there is lesser humidity in the atmosphere, there is greater rate of transpiration. So lesser humidity in the atmosphere and higher temperature means highest rate of respiration. So B is the right option. So we have been done with the 1/4 of the paper. Question number 11 is which disease can be the result of dietary deficiency of a mineral ion and a vitamin? Anemia is mainly due to the shortage of iron, and diabetes is due to the excessive glucose in the blood. Now rickets and scurvy rickets and scurvy are due to the deficiency of vitamins. I know this, but deficiency of a mineral iron, I think it is rickets here because rickets rickets is because of the deficiency of vitamin D, and this vitamin D then causes the inadequate uh, dis- disposal of calcium and phosphorus in the blood and the bones. So if there is inadequate calcium and phosphorus along with vitamin D deficiency, then I would say that rickets may definitely occur. Rickets, yes, is due to the deficiency of calcium, phosphorus, and vitamin D here. And scurvy is because of deficiency of vitamin C. It has nothing to do with the mineral ions. So C is the right option. The question number 12. A student states the contraction of circular muscles pushes the contents forward. Which process is being described? Contraction of circular muscles pushes the contents forward. It is peristalsis. It is not deamination. It is not translocation. It is not transpiration. These all are wrong statements. A is peristalsis, which involves the contraction of circular muscles, which pushes the food content forward in the body. Now, the question number 13. An investigation is carried out on digestion and absorption in the alimentary canal. The diagram shows the apparatus used. The whisking tubing is permeable to small molecules such as glucose, but not to large molecules such as starch. Now, glucose will penetrate through, but starch won't, through this semi-permeable membrane. Now, if I look at this apparatus here, this is the starch solution in the Viking tube, and along with amylase. So this is a glass rod, this is a beaker. Now water is at 36 degrees C. The water is at 36 degrees C. Highlight this. After 1 hour, the sample of water in the beaker are tested with Benedict solution and with iodine solution. Which colors are obtained? Now what will happen here? The water is at 36 degrees C. So the temperature of this particular setup is 36 degrees C. So starch will convert into maltose. Starch will convert into maltose, and it will give a red color with the Benedict solution. And the color obtained after iodine. Now the color after heating with, again these are the catchwords. So as the temperature increases, the starch will convert into maltose, and iodine is, there is not any glucose, there is not any starch, so iodine will retain its own color. So D is the right option. Now, if I revise the concepts applied here again, the starch converts to maltose at a temperature of 36 degrees C, and it is also heated with Benedict solution. So, starch is now maltose. Maltose will give a positive color with Benedict solution. There is not any glucose or starch. There is not any starch. So, the color of iodine solution will remain the same. So, D is the right option. Question number 14. Now some students were each given the apparatus shown. Now they placed the mouthpieces in their mouths and then gently breathe in and breathe out the apparatus 10 times. So this is a setup. The test tube, T-test tube, you both contain lime water, the rubber hung, the glass tubing. Now what will happen here? So which statement describes what happened when they breathe in and when they breathe out? Now if you apply the concepts you have studied here, then if I make this easy for you, now the air from here comes in, this air has high concentration of oxygen, and then this air moves in like this, and it goes into the mouthpiece. When the student here inhales, remember this, when he inhales, now if I when he inhales, the gas from here comes in this way. It will move like this, and this will not turn test tube T cloudy. This will not turn because there is very 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 minute CO2 here, so it will not turn it cloudy. And then when this student exhales here, so let me change the color here, and when he exhales here, now he exhales, then the air would go something in like this way. This air This air contains high concentration of CO2. This contation air has high amount of CO2. So this test tube U will turn cloudy definitely, and then some of the CO2 might or might not escape through this. So again, there is high concentration of oxygen in the inhaled air, high concentration of CO2 in the exhaled air. So test tube U will become cloudy. Test tube T will remain uh, clear. So now what will happen here? Now, and they breathe 10 times. So I think this has nothing to do. So why they have breathed 10 times? So the test tube U becomes clearly cloudy, becomes visibly cloudy. So when they breathed in, air from the room bubbled through test tube U. Lime water became cloudy. So when they breathed in, air from the room bubbled through test tube T, not test tube U. Air went in this way, so A is incorrect. When they breathed out, the air from the lungs bubbled through test tube. No, when they breathed in, the air from the lungs bubbled through test tube and lime water became cloudy in test tube U, not in T. So B is also incorrect. Now C, when they breathed in, air from the room bubbled through the test tube T. When they breathed in, air from the room bubbled. Yes, oxygen will bubble here. Oxygen bubbling effervescence will form here. And the lime water remained clear in test tube T. Yes, that's what I was trying to say. Now the inhaled air does not contain any amount of CO2, and this will not turn it cloudy. So if you have your concepts clear, then you can solve this question definitely. Otherwise, you cannot solve it. So C is true. And when they breathed out, air from the lungs bubbled through test tube U, and the line water remained cloudy in test tube U, not clear. So C is the right option. Question number 15 is how many molecules of carbon dioxide will be produced from the breakdown of two molecules of glucose in aerobic respiration? So C6H12O6 combining with oxygen to give me 6 CO2, 6 H2O. Now two molecules are being broken down, so I simply multiply this product side with 2, so I will get 12 CO2 and 12 water. So 12 CO2 will be produced. So D is the right option. Question number 16 is now, which equation shows the type of respiration that cause an oxygen deficiency in the muscles during the vigorous exercise? So this oxygen debt has to be returned back. So it is the lactic acid which also produces pain in our muscles. It is not CO2, it is not direct. It is the anaerobic respiration. It is not ethanolic fermentation. It is the lactic acid, and lactic acid is the only product after the pyruvic acid converted into lactic acid. So there is not any CO2 or water. So B is the right option. Question number 17 is blood pressure was measured in the pulmonary artery, pulmonary capillaries, pulmonary vein. Which blood pressure results could be correct? Now the artery, capillary, the vein closest to heart. I mean, in the not closest to heart, I had say that when the heart pumps, the one receiving the blood directly from it, the one receiving the blood from heart as it pumps will have the most heart pressure. And I know arteries have the most heart pressure because they receive blood directly from the heart. So this pulmonary artery contains deoxygenated blood. It goes to the heart. The heart pumps it heavily, and then this pulmonary artery has a high blood pressure, and it moves towards and it carries the blood towards the lungs. And then after it, the pressure in pulmonary capillary will decrease after it has moved through the capillaries. The pressure should decrease here, and the pressure is least in the vein. Pressure is least in the vein. Remember this: highest in the artery, least in the vein, and the middle most in the capillaries. Pressure will be the least in the veins. So A is the right option. Question number 18, very simple. Which component of blood engulfs pathogen? It is always the phagocytes. Remember, Pha for pathogen. That's how I remember this. Pha for pathogen. Phagocytes engulf the pathogens. So B is the right answer. It is not a lymphocyte. It is not a platelet. It is not the RBCs. So question number 19 is, what would help reduce the transmission of bacteria? Use of a condom? No. It has nothing to do with reduction of transmission of malaria. Use of antibiotics, again nothing to do with the malarial pathogen. Use of mosquito nets can definitely reduce, help us reduce the transmission and the transport of malarial pathogen. So C is true. Washing hands again is not a method we can use for reduction of malarial transmission. So C is the right option here. Question number 20, again a very easy one. The table shows the death rates from lung cancer in a country, again amongst smokers and non-smokers. Now you can have a look on this table. So when there are 0 cigarettes per smoke, they are still deaths are 10. When there are 14, it is 17. It is when 25, it is 127, 26, or more, 251. What can be concluded from this data? Now what can I infer here? That despite there is no amount of cigarette smoked per day, there is deaths from lung cancer. So lung cancer is not mainly due to cigarettes, but it is highly aggravated because of cigarette smoke. The cigarette smoke aggravates the chances of lung cancer here, and that's why when there is 25, there are 25 cigarette smoke per day, there is a greater deaths per day. So yes, this is true. People who get lung cancers are likely to be smokers of 26 or more, 26 per day. No, this is not necessary. People who do not smoke will not get lung cancer. As I said earlier, they have lesser chances of getting lung cancer, but they still might get a lung cancer. People who smoke have a higher chance of a lung cancer. Yes, that I was trying to say. C is the right option. Smoking is not the only cause of the lung cancer. C is the right option. Question number 21 is, what is the one way that development of antibiotic resistant bacteria can be minimized? Antibiotic resistant bacteria. Sharing antibiotics with family members? No. Use of antibiotics only when essential. Utility in the need of hour is the best way you can minimize the development of a bacteria that is resistant to antibiotics. Otherwise, if you continue to eat antibiotics, like someday or the other, you get a mild fever, you eat an antibiotic, then the bacteria will definitely develop resistance against it. So use antibiotics only when you have to. So B is the right option. Use of antibiotics to prevent infection? No. Use of antibiotics to treat all infections? No. Some infections can be treated by many other antihistaminic or anti-allergic, antifungal. So C and D are also incorrect. Question number 22. Now, what are the effects of HIV on the human system? Now, immune system become weaker because antibodies decrease in number and lymphocytes decrease. So A is the right option. All other are incorrect. Question number 23, again very easy. The blood in the renal vein has a different composition to the blood in the renal artery. How is the blood in the renal vein different? Now the renal vein goes out from the kidney and the renal artery comes into the kidney. Now there will definitely be higher urea in the renal artery because urea has now come to be purified, has now come to be separated. So renal artery will have higher urea, then renal vein will have less urea. Now the blood in the renal vein, will have less water as compared to renal artery. It will have less water as compared to renal artery. And now some of you might stuck here on the carbon dioxide or oxygen. Now simple is that I know the kidney cells are also living. They also need oxygen. They also respire. Now as a product of respiration, CO2 is produced. We all know this. Now CO2 is produced in the kidneys, it doesn't come in the renal artery. It also comes in the renal artery if there is very small amount still left, but renal artery has very lesser CO2 than is produced in the kidney cells itself, and then the kidney has to transport this excessive CO2, a waste product, into the renal veins so that it goes to the heart and then to the lungs and then out of the body, so more CO2 would be present. So C is the right option. So question number 24, the diagram shows a reflex arc. A person was involved in an accident and their arm was injured. The sensory neurons at X were cut. Now, which statement describes what happens if this person touches a hot object? Now, what will happen here? Now, his sensory neurons at X are cut, so the person is not able to feel their finger touching the hot object, but is able to move their finger away from the heat stimulus. Yes, this is true. Why this is true? Because he is not feeling, but he is able to produce an action against it because he has his motor neurons are still active. His motor neurons are active, his sensory neurons are not. Now he is not feeling the stimulus, but he knows he is touching a hot object, so he will definitely move his finger away from the heat stimulus as the message goes from the CNS to the effector through by the method, or by the what we say that by the motor neuron. So A is the right option, all other are incorrect. So question number 25, again very easy. The diameter of a person's pupil is measured as the light intensity is varied. During which period does the light intensity increase fastest? So the diameter of pupil falls when there is higher light intensity. Higher light intensity means lower the diameter of the pupil. So during which time period does the light intensity increase the fastest? So the faster the slope is, the greater will be the the action of the pupil. So it is not in A, because in A the diameter of pupil is increasing, means light intensity is decreasing. Similarly, C is also incorrect. In B the light intensity is increasing but smaller as compared to D. Smaller as compared to D. In D you can see that it is moving like this. In D it is a bit slower here. So yes, D is the time when the light intensity increases the fastest. So D is the right option. Question number 26, on a warm sunny day, a swimmer climbs out of a pool and sits on the edge to dry. After a few minutes, the swimmer's skin begins to feel cold. What has caused this to happen? Now it's a warm sunny day. First thing is that the swimmer climbs out of a pool. So the water of the pool is definitely cooler, and the atmospheric environment is warmer. So the swimmer's skin begins to feel cold. Then the body temperature drops until it reaches air temperature. Now the body temperature will uh, try to increase because out atmospheric temperature is higher. Muscles and other organs stop producing heat from respiration. Again, this is incorrect. Sunlight causes the hypothalamus to begin processes that increase heat loss. No, no, we have to retain the heat of the body. Now, water on the skin absorbs heat from the body and evaporates. Now, this water has high specific heat capacity. It will absorb heat to heat the body, and it will evaporate. And as it evaporates, the swimmer will begin to feel cold, but his body is heating now. So D is the right option. So question number 27 is a genetic disorder causes too much insulin to be secreted. What is the effect of secretion of too much insulin? So when there's too much insulin, the blood concentration, blood glucose will fall because more glucose will be converted into glycogen. So BGC will fall. Glucose can be detected in the glycerol in the liver is high. Glycogen level in the liver is high, less glucose, more glucose and converted into glycogen. So question number 28 is auxin. Now I know the function of auxin. Auxin is a chemical produced by the plants. What is the role of auxin? It stimulates the cells in the plant's shoot to elongate. It helps the plant to grow through their shoots. So A is the right option. It stimulates meiotic. No. It stimulates the development of branching root system. No. It stimulates the process of seed germination. No. So question number 29 is the diagram shows a cell X which contains 24 chromosomes. It divides by mitosis to produce cells X and Y and Z. So X disintegrates to Y and Z. So how many chromosomes do cell Z contain? It is mitosis. What is the characteristic of mitotic division? That the number of chromosomes in the offsprings are same as in the parent cell. So cells number of chromosome in Z is equal to the number of chromosomes in X, which is 24. So the 24 will be the amount of chromosomes Z will contain. So B is the right option. Question number 30. What is a feature of asexual reproduction in a plant? Feature of asexual reproduction in a plant: all the offsprings will grow to an identical height. Uh, all the offspring will grow to an identical height. No, this is not necessary. They may have variable height. Any seeds produced will be identical. No, they will not be. The plants need to carry out the process of meiosis. No, it has to carry out mitosis. The offspring will have all identical genotypes. Yes, all offsprings will have identical genotypes as a result of asexual reproduction. So D is the right option. Question number 31 here is the diagram shows the parts of a flower. Now which label part will develop into a seed following the fertilization? So it is the ovule which develops into the seed after the fertilization. So B is the right option. Question number 32 is the diagram shows the 28 days of a typical menstrual cycle. The letters around the outside indicate different points in the circle or in the cycle. No. Okay. So which row shows the points in the cycle? Now ovulation. First thing is that ovulation occurs during the 14th day most commonly. Ovulation occurs during the 14th day. Now for the menstruation, if I check this here among these cycles, the menstruation occurs after the 1, 2, 3. So in the second or third day or the first day, you can say the menstruation occurs during the U. It occurs during U, and the maximum thickness of uterus lining is during the time it reaches the third week. So yes, C is the right option here. Question number 33 is again a very easy question. This paper is very easy for me. The diagram shows the arrangement of blood vessels in the uterus wall and the placenta of a pregnant woman. Now what will increase in concentration in the blood as it flows from 1 to 2? Now this is the blood inlet and this is the blood outlet. So blood comes here and then blood moves outwards from here. So what will increase the concentration in the blood as it flows from 1 to 2? What will happen here now? The amino acids will almost be minimal or almost be zero in 2, because this baby definitely requires proteins for its growth. So it is not A. Carbon dioxide concentration would be increased into Y, because now this baby is respiring. This cute little baby is now respiring, and it produces CO2 as a harmful product which it does not need. So this CO2 will move out through this second outlet. So CO2 will increase, glucose will decrease because baby needs glucose, and oxygen will also decrease. So C is the right option. Question number 34 here is some lizards in the population had longer leg bones than others. They were able to climb better than the lizards with shorter legs. so they were able to escape from their predators on the ground. So over the time, lizards with shorter legs died out so that all the lizards in the population now have longer legs. Which process has caused this change within the lizard population? Now, with the smaller legs, and with the smaller legs, lizards with smaller legs, now they have almost almost emptied now from the earth. They have almost finished now, whereas with the longer legs have now survived. So it is definitely natural selection, the process during which nature selects a particular offspring to produce better successive genes uh, in its organisms. So B is the right option. Question number 35. The genotype for the height of an organism is written as TT. So which conclusion may be drawn? The allele for height has two different genes. No, the gene is same, the alleles are different. So there are at least, so A is incorrect. Second statement is true. Why? There are at least two different alleles of the gene for a height. So this is the dominant allele. I think this is the recessive one. So there are two different alleles of the same gene for the same gene of the height. So B is true. There are two different genes for height, each having a single allele. There are two different genes for height. Uh, there are there there are two different alleles, not genes. There is one allele. No, there are two alleles. So B is the right option. Question number 36, again very easy. The diagram shows some apparatus set up to produce alcohol by fermentation. So the alcoholic fermentation take place here. So if I check this apparatus, the lime water. So yeast cells in the glucose solution. There's a layer of oil here. So yes, this is an identical place for the fermentation here. So now what is the purpose of the oil here? Now what I can see here, that oxygen should ideally move in here, and then this oxygen will travel into the this yeast, and this will respire aerobically. Not This will not respire anaerobically because there is already sufficient oxygen. Now, if I put a layer of oil on the top, this will not allow the oxygen gas to penetrate through. Oxygen gas won't be able to pass. So in deficiency of oxygen, what take place? Fermentation take place. So fermentation is carried out by putting layer of alcohol so that oxygen doesn't reach it and the yeast cells respire anaerobically. So to prevent aerobic respiration is the primary purpose why the layer of oil is being deposited here. So B is the right option. Question number 37. Oh, okay. So diagram shows a pyramid of biomass. So what percentage of biomass is passed from the primary consumer to secondary consumer? So this is the producer, this is the primary consumer, this is the secondary consumer, and this is the top consumer, tertiary consumer. So the primary consumer, the percentage there is 600 grams on the caterpillar side, and this is the secondary consumer is the robin, which has 120 grams. So what is 120 over 600 is equal to 0.2 into 100. So 20% biomass is deposited from the primary consumer to the secondary consumer. So among 600 grams, 20% of it, 120 gram, is utilized by the robin. So C is the right option. Question number 38. The diagram shows a part of the carbon cycle. Now, which row shows the correct label for the numbered boxes? So I think 3 is animal. 3 is animal here. Animals feed on plant. Animals feed on plant. They decompose by decomposers, and this carries out and respiration is take is respiration is undertook by the decomposers, and oxygen is put in the air, and then this one, which is the air, also contains CO2 necessary for two, which is plants. So 4 is the decomposer, 3 is the animal, 2 is the 2 is the plant here, and 1 is the air. So D is the right option. Question number 39, second last. Which human activity is most likely to contribute to global warming? Which contributes the most, not most likely, sorry. Now, non-biodegradable plastics in the ocean, no, this will not have the most effect. Pollution due to insecticides, no, this will hamper the life of the plant, the crops, the aquatic life, but this has nothing to do, nothing major to do with the global warming. Emissions from burning fossil fuels will increase the amount of CO2 and greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. So yes, emissions from burning fossil fuels will contribute to global warming. So C is true. Water pollution by sewage, no, this will only reduce the amount of DO water in the water body. So C is the right option. Last MCQ: the drainage from fields where nitrogen contained fertilizers have been spread can result in fish dying in rivers. So fish will die. So which sequence of events describe what happens to fish? What happens when fish die as a result of water pollution by nitrogen containing fertilizer? Now, once the nitrogen containing fertilizers is now scattered in the water body, so there would be less DO, less amount of dissolved oxygen. So less dissolved oxygen, so less plant decomposition. So C is incorrect. And when there is less oxygen dissolved in the water, now the plant does not need oxygen. First thing is it, when there is less oxygen, there would there would the fish will ultimately die because of lack of oxygen. So there would be greater amount of plants will survive. So more growth of water plants and more plants, and when there is greater plant number, then obviously a time will reach when the plants will die and they will be decomposed by the bacteria which is in the water. So yes, more plant decomposition by bacteria is true. D is the right option. So that's all for our today's video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and do press the bell icon for upcoming videos and past papers. Hope you have liked it. Thank you. Goodbye. Allah Hafiz.